I see the countdown.
Welcome to the Black Ham Radio University. My name is Andre Kilo Whiskey 5 Delta Romeo Echo, and today we got a special guest. First, let me tell you that we apologize for the late start. We had some issues with audio, so brother Jeff Drew is going to be talking to us through his phone, and because he couldn't hear me, so I have him on the phone right now, and the phone is right here, and he can hear me. So when he speaks, I'll be able to hear him just fine. So that's what ham radio is about, people. We make last minute adjustments, and that's what we do at ham radio. There's more than one way to skin a cat. I done skinned 5 cats before we started this thing, and Jeff can attest to it. So first, I want to welcome Jeff. Jeff, brother, Jeff is president of the OMIC Amateur Radio Association Incorporated. The organization is a great organization. I got a lot of questions about the organization. So Jeff, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Dre, and it's great. It's absolutely fantastic to be here with you, to get a chance to talk about old Mike and to join you in help promoting Black Ham University. It's so important that we pass this information on to the general public, so that we can keep the gateway, keep the door open for those that want to join the ham community.
Right, right. So let me open up and ask you, Jeff. I'm gonna get into some of the stuff that some stuff about you too later on in the show, because I found that interesting when I spoke with you. But what is the Old Mike organization? How did it get started?
It got started because there were hams that were finishing out in Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Kentucky, experiencing some of the same problems we experience today, where nobody would talk to them, and they were properly licensed ham radio operators, but yet because their voice was had a black tone, no one would talk to them. So they developed their own club and decided to establish OMIC. So it's unfortunate that it had to happen that way, but some of that discrimination continues to this day.
Right, right, right. And yeah, it's crazy. Like, sometimes we do have to go get our own. Like, if we're not welcome, I was always taught, if you don't get what you want, or somebody doesn't give you what you want, you go out and get it. Sounds like
That's right.
sounds just like, why this old Mike organization was started. Other than that, was there any other purpose or reasons that it was started along the way after it was actually started? Was there any other purposes that it wanted to serve after
Well,
it was started?
let me inject this in today's membership. We have members in Italy. We have members in Bermuda. We have members in Africa. We have Greek members here in the United States. But getting back to your point, we were in the Tuskegee Airmen were graduate were those airmen were coming out of the Army Air Corps with uh, ham licenses. And so the numbers of black hams was growing, but nevertheless they had no one to talk to. When they called CQ, there would be no answer. And so uh, the initial members of OMIC established this club so that and they would have someone to talk to and keep the skills that they needed to communicate. And so the important part in the early days, back in 1952, was to establish a net where black hams could use their skills.
Okay. Was there any challenges with starting the organization? Like, I don't know how, back then, I don't know what the requirements were, or if there were even any requirements. Was it a challenge to start it? Was there any like paperwork you had to
Well,
go through or
I'm
anything
sure
like
that
that?
I'm sure there was because there was a government that was giving the test. They didn't do the testing the way they do now through ARRL. You had to actually go to the FCC office and take the test, which all of those tests include code. Of course, I'm too young to tell you too much about how things were in the 50s. I've only been licensed for about 15 years.
Okay. Okay. So as far as the old Mike organization, uh, what are some of the things that it does with the community? Are there long-term partnerships that have been established between the OMIC organization and like local organizations,
Well,
community?
absolutely. But as you use the word community, right today, the whole world is our community now, Dre.
Hmm.
We have affiliated clubs in Los Angeles with the Wafa Group. We participate and support all of the smaller black ham groups and others. But our community is really the world at large, the radio community. On every Sunday morning, we you might hear us talk to people, to friends and members around the world. So our community is pretty broad. It's pretty broad right now. We enjoy a global identity, and that's great because after 50 some years, it's important that we have spread out beyond the borders of the United States. But yes, we do support other clubs. We support other activities. We are going to be at the Huntsville Ham Fest this year. Our regional directors do a number of different things. We participate in parks on the air. We have started to have special events at Black historic sites. We'll be at the Tuskegee Airmen Museum in September. So, the answer to your question, we do have a community footprint, but our community at large is definitely the radio community. Back to you.
All right. So I got a comment from Joe Tyson. Let me just shorten this up. Here it says the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah, I know what he's getting. He's getting at those discriminatory comments. I mean, sometimes people tune up on us and so forth, but our position is to continue to hold the course. We do not fuel the fire. We do not use vitriol language on the radio. We continue our conversations no matter what because we welcome everyone to OMIC. We don't have any restrictions. We are happy to have licensed 80-year-old women as well as 11-year-old children. So our doors remain open, despite the fact that some people like to cause us harm.
Right, right. So as far as the organization, I belong to I belong to a few organizations, and I know they're all different in their own ways. Um,
Hmm.
but in my opinion, I have my own opinion about this because I think Old Mike stands out above and beyond all of them. But I have my reasons for that. What are your reasons that you think, or one of them that you may share, or what you may think, or other people think that the Old Mike organization stands out a little bit more out than all those other organizations?
Well, there's a couple of them. One, of course, you cannot overlook our scholarship committee. We provided this year over $30,000 in scholarships to young children that were interested in science and mathematics. That's something that we have done for the past 20 years, and we'll continue to do so for the next 50 years. Uh, we also provide education and help along with programming. We want to make ham radio affordable. Most kids can't afford to spend thousands of dollars for HF equipment, but they might be able to spend $300 for digital equipment.
Right.
And so our education committee provides information on how to enter the ham radio world through the digital door. And that's very important because that also gives them worldwide communications, and it gets them a ticket. Thirdly, they get to learn about HF over time, and we also provide used equipment when someone passes away. If we have it, we can help a young operator or a new member get equipment at a discounted price. So you have a scholarship, you have education, and you have programming and equipment. All of these things provide a gateway, like I said, for new hams to come and join OMIC. And we're very proud of that. We're very proud of that, Andre, because we're consistent in doing it. We don't just do it once in a while. We do it all of the time.
Right, right, and and one thing I've noticed that, I've looked into the Old Mike organization before I joined, and I just felt like I was part of it, and when I wasn't even part of it. Um, what are the requirements to join?
You don't have to be a ham. Okay, you do not have to be a ham. You can join without having a ham ticket. Families can join without having a ham ticket. We only ask that you behave on the radio.
Yeah, that's a big thing, right?
Right, right. We do
uh,
we do it here to the Amateur Radio Code of Conduct,
hmm.
and so we want to remain a professional organization. We are the oldest and most prestigious African American association in the world, and so we have to be. It's tough being at the top because we want to maintain a certain dignity on the radio that would draw other hams to us.
Hmm.
We have over 300 members now across the world, and each one of them is an ambassador, not only for goodwill in amateur radio, but an ambassador for OMIC.
Right, right,
And this is, you can hear the love and the camaraderie every Sunday morning on our nets.
right, right. And just real quick, you know what? I'll get to that as far as the nets at the end of the show. We'll go over, when those nets are, and such and such. Let me ask you this. This is a real important question. How important is it to the organization that women are included and not excluded from the hobby?
Oh, it's absolutely important. We have a ladies auxiliary. I forgot to mention that. This year we saw a female member in her 80s. In fact, we saw one in her 80s to get her extra class ticket. Okay, in 1 year, and we had another lady, Marilyn, who also got her extra class ticket. I think in a little bit more than a year. But we're very proud. We're very proud of the zeal and enthusiasm that our women bring to the organization. Um, to a great degree, Joyce Spite is the head of our scholarship committee, who is female, and we're glad to have them. We I guess we at one point we had over 40 women in our ladies auxiliary train,
Mm-hmm.
and they provide a lot of fun at the conventions when we have our conventions. It's really great for the hams and their wives and girlfriends and what have you to be together. We have a lot of fun, and many of the ladies, I guess about 20% maybe, have ham licenses.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think it's honestly, I think it's great that you don't have to have a ham license, because here's the thing. Um I've had people tell me, I was young in my day. I'm still young, but I was a little younger. Go to this club. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to this club. All they do in there is this, this, this. I don't want to be a part of that. It's corny. It's boring. They don't do nothing in there. They don't have no fun. And they brought me in there one day because I kept saying no, and I wound up going in there. And I'm like, you know what? I really like it. It's not bad. It's not what I thought. So with the
Right.
option of being part of the old Mike organization without being a licensed ham, it's good because it might just seeing how things are run, and seeing the things that the old Mike organization does.
Absolutely. You
It's
see,
like, yeah.
we take information, we take ideas from the ladies, particularly when we have our face to face conventions.
Mm-hmm.
They help us choose the sites that we generally, when we go to a city, we will tour African American historical sites, but we also tour sites like the Oklahoma bomb site,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, the who was it? Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Jefferson of the Tuskegee Airmen took us to the Alabama Flight Museum. We when we tour, the ladies give us the places that they want to go, and that's very important to us because we're not thinking about we're just the guys are thinking about being together, but the girls are thinking about what we can do once we get together, and that makes for a wonderful convention.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have a great time with excursions, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, especially if if it's the same people doing the same thing every year, and then you get some fresh minds and some fresh ideas in there from different people, it makes
Right,
it that much better. Yeah, yeah.
right, right,
So
right,
that
right,
makes
right.
sense. It makes sense.
They're
So
very important to the group. Very
oh
important to our
yeah,
group.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes we I think we all have to make way for what's different from us,
That's right.
because that's what makes everything unique, and it's changing always, and that's what keeps it going. If everything stayed the same, that would be just terrible. If the same
Well,
TV shows came on, that'd be terrible.
a
So.
lot of a lot of the women are teachers, and a lot of them are mothers.
Hmm.
And as I mentioned earlier, it's so important for us to pass on the fact that we are a gateway to amateur radio. The ladies do an excellent job in passing that information on to the general public.
Right,
Great job.
right, and that's, yeah, good thing. Very, very, very good thing there. Um, So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. When I was looking at the site, I learned there were so many different committees with old Mike. You had the education, you had the health and welfare, scholarship fund, IT, convention committee. Um, some of the stuff. What is the IT about?
That's programming.
Just the
That's
programming.
programming. If you were going to go and buy one of these new digital radios, it could be a headache.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a headache, and not having a resource to ask someone to ask about. Well, how do I get on this repeater, and how do I get on this reflector? That could be a horror.
Right.
Some of these radios are extremely sophisticated, and people would like to have help. Not only to mention, I mean, to add, but once you get it programming, who are you going to talk to? The new digital radios through reflectors offer worldwide communications,
Right.
but
Right.
you have to know how to program that radio so that you can address your transmissions to where you want to talk to.
Right.
That's what IT does.
Okay. Jeff, I'm gonna ask you to move a little bit to your
I'm sorry. I'm
left.
sorry.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah. I'm
I think
sorry,
I ain't
man.
want you to get out the frame there. There you go. Jeff, let me ask you this. What does O Mike offer for like new hams as far as learning stuff? Is there like resources on the website? Um
Well, that's what I was alluding to just now.
mhm.
Is that when you get that new handheld radio, that is a digital radio, we offer programming both in Fusion, in D Star, and all the digital modes. And so what happens is that suddenly that radio that looked like it was too difficult for you to program, suddenly that becomes a worldwide communication device.
Mhm.
And it is through our IT guys. Frank DePure is head of that, but we have other teachers and really Elmers, if you want to just break it down. We're very happy to provide Elmer assistance
Mhm.
to new and existing hams. These guys like myself that go out and buy a sophisticated radio. We may not, but knowing that you have that resource, Andre, knowing that you have a teacher or an Elmer to talk to help you learn and use that radio enhances your enthusiasm for the hobby. It makes you want to use your equipment, and of course that means you're going to eventually pass on how you did it, because just like
Absolutely.
you're asked, well, how did you do it? Well, I joined OMIC, and the guys at OMIC were happy to help me and show me how to get this thing together. That's an invaluable resource.
Right.
It
Right.
really is. It
Absolutely.
really is.
Absolutely. So let
Because
me ask. Go ahead.
okay, go ahead.
I'm
Mhm.
sorry. You go ahead. You can finish your thought.
No, no, no. I'm just saying it's so important to have a resource, because most of the equipment nowadays requires programming,
Mhm.
and someone that has done it before would be a great help.
Right.
You
Right.
know, trying to do it all by yourself could be a plate of spaghetti.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So let me ask you this. Let me try to put this in a. Hmm. Okay. So there are a lot of things that there's a lot of things I don't understand about ham radio because I'm new. And when I joined a local club here, I knew anything about ham radio. I had no idea what they were talking about. What they sound like they were speaking in another language. But when they needed somebody to do some technical stuff, I was there. So with
Yeah,
that said, some new hams they look at the old mic organization. They say, I don't know nothing about radio. I don't know nothing about ham radio. There's nothing that I can contribute to the organization. What do you think of that? Do you think there's still something to contribute?
well,
Because I do.
well, first of all, every human being is important to me and to us. Every human being has something to offer. Their experience, their perspective is something that's always welcome. One of the beauties of Old Mike is that we have a roundtable discussion pretty much 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Mhm.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a discussion about ham radio. It could be a discussion about whatever is on a person's mind. And in many cases, we have members, Andre, who are nearly bedridden, and their only contact with the world is via either our Zoom room or their radio. And we're very proud to have provided that medium of communication, because people need it, and they don't necessarily, like you said, they don't have to necessarily be a technical talk. When people check into our nets, it doesn't have to be a technical conversation. It can be high and by, or it can be the weather, or it can be the equipment. We don't have a language per se, or a requirement that you speak some form of ham radio lingo. Everyone is welcome. They have always been welcome, and they always will be, because
Right.
it is our congenial nature to want to welcome new hams and people that we haven't heard from before.
Right. Right.
So one of our nets, Chuck Lindsay, he says this is where old friends meet and where new ones are made.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's true. I can say that's true because I've met a lot of good people since being in ham radio. Some local that I meet up with, quite a few local. I would say about 10. And it ain't just about ham radio when we meet. It's about sports. It's about just whatever, helping, making sure they taking care of themselves, making sure I'm taking care of myself. Well, it's ham radio brought us together, but it was a whole bunch of other things that made us friends. So
That's right.
That's the key for me. So
Absolutely. And once again, the club provides a resource, a tremendous resource of hands-on training.
hmm right. What is how does the Old Mike organization go about getting the youth involved?
Well, we have regional directors. We used to have area directors in each one of the call area groups. COVID hit pretty hard, Andre. It hit our organization pretty hard in that we were not able to utilize our area directors to the degree that we had in the past. And so rather than have area directors per area, we went to regional directors. And their job is to participate in whatever ham events that might be happening in their region. To go to those ham fests, to go to those special events, to hang our banner, and put some applications on the table,
hmm
uh, and to branch out in the community when there is an opportunity. And so that's how we do our, I guess you call it recruitment.
Right.
But like I said, COVID hit us so hard that we had to stop our face-to-face conventions. We had to stop our community activities, going to various special events and so forth.
hmm
And basically, we had to retreat into our own shell. But we're coming out now.
Oh yeah, we
thank,
coming
thank,
out. We coming
thank
out like
goodness.
we coming out
Thank,
like Diana Ross.
yeah, man, we're coming out now, and it's so wonderful because we've got members from 8 to 80. I mean, in
hmm
the age group,
Yeah.
and a lot of the members miss seeing each other,
hmm
because that turned out to be a great social affair for our members, both with and without families.
Right.
So
Right.
we're gonna continue our conventions probably in 2024.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Any
And
school?
even now, like I said, we're going to Huntsville, but
hmm
the regional directors have the opportunity to go to any official or ham event.
Okay.
So that's their job, is to take it to the community.
Okay. Any school based programs in the future? Any ideas for school based programs like in the future for the
We've
organization?
done we've done some. Regrettably, they have not. We did not get the interest
hmm
that we were looking for uh, at the schools. And that's been true not only for national organizations like ourselves, but for the local organizations also. Some I think they've had a lot more success out in California, but very little success this side of the Mississippi River. We are finding that for educational purposes, the best results come from individual effort.
hmm
When
hmm
when an individual contacts us and says, "Tell me about this," or "What are y'all doing?" Then and the one-on-one contact seems to work better.
Right. Right. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna get you out of here on one last question, but before I ask you that question, I want to hear some information about you, Jeff. If you could just share something interesting about you, 'cause I know somebody that everybody would love to hear and find interesting.
Well, I live on Dynamite Hill, okay, And they call it Dynamite Hill because this is the part of Birmingham that took the brunt of the bombings. Of the three of the four girls that were killed in the 16th Street church bombing were classmates of mine.
Mm.
My mother and father were great and close friends with Dr. King, and he, in fact, stayed here in the very room I'm talking from now.
Wow.
When he was staying here, we would stay up all night with walkie-talkies, Andre.
Mm.
As children, we would stand beside our fathers because they were looking for that decommissioned police car that was throwing all the dynamite or Molotov cocktails or whatever after dark.
Mm-hmm.
And so if luckily we had little walkie-talkies on Channel 14 trying to communicate if we could catch them, if we could and that's how I fell in love with radio. And so my history, I guess, is twofold, both in civil rights and in radio.
Wow.
It was a terrible time, but it was also a very educational time for us.
All right. Well, that's some interesting stuff right there. And it's funny what you say about the walkie-talkies because I used to have those as a kid, man. Those things was just like they was like you was somebody if you had a walkie-talkie. I mean, you just talk to your friends.
Remember changing the crystal out?
Yeah. The crystal looked like a capacitor or something like that.
Right.
Yep. My mom had a police scanner too because she had the crystals too. Like it was just like you stick it in. And there was a crystal for each city that she had on her scanner. So that's interesting.
See? By the way, Andre, I wanted to tell you we're certainly proud of you, man, and bringing Black Ham Radio University out. And I have already talked to my chairman of all these committees, and they are more than happy to join you.
Thank you.
At your request. We would like to provide as much resource for you as you need, and so you are welcome to use us as you see fit. Okay.
Thank you. And I told myself, I'm probably gonna have an old mic series. So we might have sometimes the 2 weeks in a row where we speak with different people who do different things. So, and by the time the series is done, whether you're a member or not, you're going to know all about the Old Mic organization.
We love that. We love that.
And you're going to want to join. You are going to want to join because it's a lot. It's a lot. You're talking about scholarship for kids. I mean, and even if it's not your kid getting a scholarship, the fact that you giving money to somebody who needs it, it's a big thing. Because your $20 or your $200 means is $1,000 to somebody else.
That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
It's a lot of money.
Love someone who's gonna love you.
Right. Yep. So I'm gonna let you end it. We're about to end the show now. Jeff, just give me your final thoughts on anything ham radio, and we're gonna get up out of here from there.
Well, the more we participate in ham radio and as ambassadors of goodwill through radio, you remember when you make that transmission, you don't know where that signal's going to fall, who's going to hear it. But it's so important for all of us hams to be ambassadors of goodwill. When the world can hear that we can live in peace together, that feeling transmits over the air. And I think it's important for all of us as hams to continue to be ambassadors of goodwill because really, Andre, the whole world is listening.
Absolutely. Yep. So, if you're watching this and you want to become a member of the organization, Jeff, can you just give them some quick instructions on how to be a member?
We have applications on the website. There you go. How to join Old Mic Ham Club online. You can join right away. We are happy to have you join via Ham Club online. You can contact me or any of the officers, the president, vice president, secretary, or treasurer. We'll be more than happy to take your application over the phone.
That's right.
So it's again, the door is wide open. We don't have any problem in increasing our membership. The more numbers, the better we are.
Absolutely. And unity, there's strength.
That's right.
So just remember that, y'all. So we're gonna get up
And
out of
by the
here.
way,
Uh-huh.
join if you just have an SDR, a software defined radio.
Hmm.
Listen to our nets on Sunday
That's
morning.
right. Yep. That's
We
right.
have three of them. We have three of them. One on 75 meters, on 40 meters, and on 20 meters, and just get a feel for how the organization communicates.
Yep. And if you want to get those times, you can go on the website. It's clear. The website is just it's very comprehensive. I mean, you could actually you just click whatever you want to see, and it'll tell you what it is. It's not written in a different language. It's very clear on instructions and stuff like that. All the information. It's a great, clean website. So go to the website if you want to get the times of these nets, and just take a listen. Like Jeff said, you'll like it.
Thank you, man.
You could tell we care. Like you could tell, there's a lot of caring on the net. It's just not about some nets you're getting signal reports and then they move on to the next line. Some nets they giving you the weather and you're moving on to the next line. You're giving traffic and you're moving on to the next. It's not like that. This is like a family orientated net. And if you're not okay, we are not okay. And that's
we want you to feel the warmth. We really want you to feel the warmth because we are a loving club, and you listen in, you'll see that. You'll see it.
Absolutely. Yep.
And we want to design the website so that because of guys like you, Andre, we're getting a lot of publicity, and we wanted to redesign the website to be first class,
Absolutely.
so that it showed all of what we do, all of what we have done, and it's the here and now of what OMIC is all about. And
Absolutely.
it's important that we continue. We just turned 50 years old. OMIC's going to make it to 100. I can almost guarantee that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
So yeah, even you know what, I'm gonna get in contact with whoever does the website, and I have an embed code. So if they want to put this video on the website, I have no problem with it. And I think that will work. If the
Contact our secretary Courtney.
Will do. So look, we're gonna get up out of here, Jeff. Once we go off, just stay on. We can talk. But we're gonna get out of here now and get offline. Hope everybody enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Jeff, thank you for being here and giving your time. I appreciate it. And anybody else who's listening or watching, make sure you join. If you if you just having thoughts about joining, go ahead and join. Listen to a few nets, and I guarantee you it'll persuade you to join because it's good stuff here. So everybody be blessed, be healthy, and be safe. This is Kilo Whiskey 5 Delta Romeo Echo and N4JDU. And we're out of here. 73. Have a good one.
QRT. That was fun.